Meeting of November 11th, Veterans Day. I want to take a moment to thank those who put on an incredible Veterans Day service today over at Pitkin County, and thank all the veterans in our community for their service. We will now call to order and ask you to call the roll, Nicole.
Councillor Benedetti.
Here.
Councillor Doyle.
Here.
Councillor Guth.
Here.
Councillor Rose.
Here.
Mayor Richards.
Here. Thank you very much. We have no scheduled public appearances today. We will move quickly into citizens' comments and petitions. I simply ask that you identify yourself for the record and keep your comments to 3 minutes. Who would like to make public comments today? Please come on up, Francis.
My name is Francis Stuckins, longtime Aspen local. Greetings, Mayor Richards, members of City Council. Thank you for continuing to pursue environmental issues. We have a spotlight on us here in Aspen, and I think we can be effective for the nation, especially since Trump isn't doing anything about renewable energy, but I'll leave it at that. I'm published on Substack a couple of stories about Aspen in the past and dealing with the passing of Dick Cheney. I'll say no more about that. Thank you, Aspen Writers Network and Words, for making that possible, Aspen Words. And Aspen Pitkin County Housing Authority taking care of us at the Aspen Country Inn. We still have 2 single-bedroom apartments available there. They're vacant, and if anybody qualifies, come on over. I'd love some new neighbors. Thanks for taking care of the restaurant over here that used to be Yogi's and making a settlement so the creditors get paid. And I thought about the Bamboo Bear, and somebody was talking about the guy who used to run it. I've forgotten his name. That would be a great addition here if he's amenable to coming back to Aspen. Lastly, I've been a proponent of having a cannabis consumption lounge at the top of the Armory. It would probably be able to be fed by the whatever food kiosks, local vendor food kiosks are there, a community forum, possibly a music venue or community events could be held there. And I've talked to Lauren Mayton, and I'm waiting to hear back from her about a normal chapter that could be housed there too, National Organization for Reform of Marijuana Laws. It would be for profit. I have a food and drug business license, Aspen Green Cuisine, and that's in good standing with the state of Colorado. So I'd be willing to go further into it and find out what could happen if we could have a vote or something in the future, if that is amenable to citizens of Aspen and members of the council. I'm still on Katie and Kate as Ambassador Franklin, and this is the year of the duck. I am qualified to proclaim that, Bill.
All right, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you in the future.
Yeah, Francis, I just feel like I have to say, because you've brought this idea up several times about a cannabis lounge. And while I have nothing against adults doing what adults do, sometimes this is going to beep. But the Armory is more of a community center, and in many ways to give our youth a place to gather without the influence that says you have to party to have a good time. I don't think that that's necessarily the right message for our youth, and I have met with a couple of different youth groups and youth representatives who've talked about how even the advertising of our stores now and the sandwich boards outside, it's made it a very challenging environment for people who are 14 and 15 to say, hey, grow up fast and act like the 21-year-olds. And I just do not think that would be appropriate for the Armory project. I think that there's a lot of nightclubs and bars and hotels and places like that. If they felt there was a real market for that to bring their clientele in, they could pursue that. But I do not think it would be appropriate for a public facility.
So another location, maybe.
I'm not saying anything. I just wanted to say, I know you've had your heart on the Armory, but, think about it. We have a smoke-free campus at the Arc where the youth recreation takes place, and throughout this whole campus here and the library. And I just wanted to let you know, as we've been asked several times to consider it, for myself, it's just not something I'm going to be able to support. Oh, okay. Sorry. One of the speakers isn't working. So, but thank you. I appreciate your effort. And as I said, it's not a disparagement of adults and adults doing things like this, but there's a time and separation for adult activities and kids.
All right, and I understand completely, and I'll look for another location, but I think it's something that would really serve the community, and it would be 21 over and the Aspen residents only and their guests. So we could refuse J.D. Vance.
Understood. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, additional public comments. Anyone here? Please come forward.
Thank you. Thank you guys for the opportunity. My name's Robin Scott, and this is Tricia McIntyre.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. Tricia runs Aspen Vacation Luxury Rentals, or Aspen Luxury Rentals. And I was born in the Valley, have been here my whole life. And I work in advocacy for the federal government, basically, advocating for vacation rentals. Mm-hmm. And we have a very detailed list that we've sent, I believe, to the council. I'm new here, so excuse me.
Yes, I've received it. I believe my council members have. I forwarded it on to our community development staff to take a look at.
I appreciate that. So I don't want to take up more of your time. I just really wanted to set the platform and see if there were any questions or things about that email. I feel like it's really important as I work in other vacation rental markets across the country and understanding their advocacy, their regulations, trust accounting, things like that, understanding the professionalism that needs to be brought to managing vacation rentals is there's a gap going on here, and that there's no criticism there at all, but I think it could help protect the community, help protect the experience of the guest that's coming here, and kind of elevate a few things for people. And I'm happy to talk through that as my experience kind of goes deep into the industry.
Well, again, I think we appreciate your reaching out and your advocacy. We only got it a couple of days ago, so I don't know if time has elapsed enough for people to formulate questions or think about how it fits into ours, but appreciate you making yourselves available to speak further. So.
Yeah, I appreciate the council's time, and anything you guys need, we're happy to answer, but I feel like we gave a really good bullet list to
It was very thorough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in. Additional public comment. Is there anyone? We have one person on the phone, but I'm looking in the room. Sure. Come on up, Tony, or either one.
My name is Tony. Shall I take my turn?
Okay, yeah, Peter.
Thank you, Mrs. Mayor. Mrs. Mayor and all of you, thank you for your time. Here in Aspen, we live in a bubble, and that bubble has a few layers of insulation in it, and we're all lucky to be here. I'm here tonight because I just want to make people aware that there is a humanitarian crisis going on in the country of Jamaica right now. And my soul lives in Aspen, but my heart lives in Jamaica. And over the coming days, you're going to see some advertisements in the local newspaper for a nonprofit fund that is asking for donations for hurricane recovery for their island. And the Aspen Daily News has been so kind as to put advertisements into their paper at no cost to a nonprofit organization designed specifically for hurricane relief for those individuals. You know, of the 3 million people that live in Jamaica, more than 1 million are affected by what's going on down there, and it's a terrible thing. And so I just want to make the community aware that there's an opportunity for them, and if you see that in the newspaper, you know, you can give $10 if you like, you can give $25 if you like, you can give 50 cents if you'd like, but when you see that advertisement in the newspaper that they've been so gracious to put in for me, anything that that we as citizens can do for the assistance of those wonderful people down there would be greatly appreciated. And I just wanted to put an additional awareness towards it publicly for you, for that effort. And we've got a great town, and our hearts are full of compassion for all people. And I would like to see that include the wonderful people of that country. And if you see that article, if you feel fit to, you know, throw them $1, it would mean more to me than anything else that our town could provide. So that's the only reason that I wanted to have a piece tonight. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That really is a great endeavor, and thank you for initiating it.
Yeah, it's a troubling situation down there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Additional public comment here in the room. Tony?
May I pass these around?
Just give them to the clerk, please, and she'll have them passed around. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, for the record, my name is Toni Kronberg, and as you know, today is Veterans Day, and I just want to take the time to say thank you to all the vets and to all the people that have fought to make America the land of the free and free for the press. With that being said, last night there was a presentation by the Recreation Department on the improvements that are going to be made, or hopefully that will be made. And one of the things that was brought up was the field house. Well, I spoke with the superintendent of the schools, and he said he believes that the field house will be included in the bond issue. So that gives us an opportunity to build a gymnasium in addition to the field house. What I wanted to say was that in the presentation that they had a diagram. Well, first, before I say anything, that it's unfortunate that when you're having a work session and that the staff is giving a presentation and someone was on the line to speak about the proposed plans for the recreation center and myself in the room, that we were asked to come back tonight at 3-minute public comment because the people that were giving the presentation have no idea what the public is bringing forward tonight. And the purpose of public comment is for the council to listen to the community, to weigh in as what the public wants to say. So Rachel, first of all, I want to say thank you very much because we talked about the efforts to get the Aspen Recreation Center built. And as you know, when the ice rink was floundering and there wasn't enough funds, that you helped create the Spark Group to pull together. And I think that was what, 1998?
That was probably the year 2000, 99, 2000.
Okay. So our community actually started the effort to build a new outside swimming pool back in 1976. That was when Mayor Bill Sterling was mayor, and then every year since then, like when John Bennett was mayor, when Mick Ireland was mayor. And what I've passed around to you tonight are articles. One of the very first ones that I included, and there's like lots of them, is from 1996 when Carolyn Zachariasen wrote an article on the city's cool to hot tub. And what my profession is teaching swimming. I've been teaching swimming in Aspen. This is my 50th year of teaching swimming. And one of the fundraisers that we did was for a hot tub out at the rec center. And these efforts were not included in the slideshow last night because it was pre the bond issue. But so for the public, in 1996, Carolyn wrote an article on city cool to hot tub. The next one is in 2003, more changes urged at the new pool. And while the Spark Group was commendable, they raised $8 million as a private entity. I've always worked on the taxpayer side. I've always worked for ballot questions. And the ballot question was $20 million for the Aspen Recreation Center. So that's a total of almost $30 million to get that built back then.
Tony, your 3 minutes are about up if you'd like to
Okay,
close.
and then I just wanted to show these for the public, that, is this upside down? Yep, it is, sorry. Is that, these were the designs that the community has supported since 1998, since before that. So I really encourage the council, when you're having the budget discussions tonight, again, there's been no public comment on it, that how much is the Armory going to cost? 200 million? Or lumberyard 300 million? That maybe we could take 4 to 5 million somehow and put it towards an outside pool. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Additional members here for public comment in the room? Okay, there are none. Can we open up for Liz with a hand raised online? Liz, you can talk now. Make sure you're unmuted.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I'm Liz Woods, and I apologize for not being there in person tonight. I am actually on vacation at the moment and wanted to get a chance to speak to council. I've sent a letter, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I would like to begin by thanking the entire Aspen Golf Course team for the work that they do every day. The maintenance staff, golf professionals, frontline employees create a welcoming and well-maintained environment that residents truly value. Their commitment is deeply appreciated. I began playing golf through Aspen Junior Golf Program when I was 7 years old, and I used the course on and off ever since. This course has helped shape my connection to the community, and I care deeply about keeping it accessible to everyone. I understand the need for financial stability and operational efficiency. However, the proposed 2026 pass charges create significant barriers for many residents, especially people who walk, moderate use players, twilight golfers, and individuals who rely on after-work access. Bundling carts and range balls into every pass raises costs for people who walk. Walking supports personal health, reduces environmental impact, and keeps the game affordable. A two-tier structure that offers both a walking pass and an all-inclusive pass would maintain operational clarity while respecting the needs of a diverse resident base. Removing moderate use options such as the punch pass affects residents who play modest number of rounds. Many longtime locals, as well as longtime summer visitors who participate in the community but do not qualify for the resident rate, rely on these mid-tier options. A small base pass with a reduced per round fee or a reworked punch pass would continue to support their participation. Twilight golfers are also heavily affected. Many residents, including much of the working public, rely on late afternoon play because they cannot access the course during the day. Newer golfers and residents who have recently moved to the Valley often begin with Twilight passes because they offer an affordable way to learn the game and connect with the community. The new $75 Twilight fee with a cart and range balls included risks pricing out these players. A walking Twilight pass, a Twilight 10-pack, or even a 9-hole rate would help maintain access while preserving revenue. The Aspen Golf Club is a public resource that supports community connection, health, and inclusion. Pass structures should reflect the range of residents who rely on the course, including longtime locals, seasonal locals, working families, and those just beginning to participate. I respectfully encourage the council to consider a more flexible and inclusive set of pass options that meets operational goals while keeping the course accessible to the full breadth of our community. Thank you again for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Have you been connected with the Aspen Golf Course Committee that kind of makes the recommendations to council and is there to take the pulse of the golfers?
Yes, I attended a meeting yesterday that Jim hosted and was told about the reasonings behind their changes, which I understand, but I still feel that these other issues are more important to me personally and to many people that I know.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for taking the time to call us in. And we have received a few emails on that, and I think we'll stir up a little discussion. So thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any additional public comment in the room or online? Seeing none, I will close the public comment section of our meeting, and we will move to special orders of the day, which are council members and mayor's comments, followed by agenda amendments, board reports, and city manager comments. So council members' comments for today, anyone? John?
Yeah, thanks to Peter Fornell for bringing up the subject of natural disasters and hurricanes. This week in New York Magazine, there's an article about the United Nations Conference on Climate Change, which is taking place in Brazil right now, and representatives of just about every country in the world are gathering for it. One notable absence is the United States of America. In the first 6 months of this year, the cost of climate-related disasters in the U.S. set a new record, $101 billion. Quote, "There's no getting away from climate change. All of the problems, poverty included, are linked to it and will be exacerbated by it. The notion that you can alleviate suffering in a world of uncontrolled warming isn't just short-sighted, it edges toward magical thinking." I know that there are actually some people here in Aspen that don't believe in climate change. I do, because I've lived here long enough to see us lose more than a month of winter, and I also believe scientists. And again, I'm really happy that I live in a community that takes this problem seriously. So thanks to the staff of our city government here.
Thank you, John. Christine, do you have any comments?
My only comment is to also acknowledge that it's Veterans Day and thank everyone in our community, our family, our friends, and the strangers that we don't know for their service to our country and our freedom.
Thank you. Very nicely said. Bill?
Sure. Echoing Christine's comments, certainly, thank you all for your service. Additionally, I wanted to thank everyone for participating in the elections last week. I think that was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thanks to all those who voted. It does really make a difference in our day-to-day lives, and that's what democracy is all about, and it's sort of the cornerstone of our community and our country, and it's critical. So thank you to those who participated. I wanted to touch briefly on the child care district that was passed. I was not in support of that because I'm concerned about the outcome for Aspen specifically, and I'm an Aspen advocate first and foremost before anything else. And so I wanted to put out there that my expectation is that Aspen gets something out of this. I think that we are going to be the predominant tax generator for this child care district, and I expect that we get direct, measurable, tangible results out of this child care district, and that all of the funding doesn't get distributed elsewhere throughout the district and forgets about Aspen, because we have done so much already for our community in terms of early child care education, which I am proud of and supportive of, but it's disparate to the rest of the district, the efforts and the dollars and the time that we've put forth so far. So
Yes.
I want to put out there that our expectation is that we get a proportional return to what we are contributing.
You know, Bill, just along those lines, this one's not working. Stefan Reveal is now going to be our representative. He's been on our Kids First board, so he is intimately familiar with what we are doing now and perhaps what our needs are going forward. As they get up and running and formulated, I think we could have some work sessions with him and see how we can help back him up in his new role.
Yeah, and I shared those same sentiments with him recently on a phone call, and he gets it and will advocate for us as a community.
And we'll make sure he gets the supporting materials he needs.
Yep.
So, thank you. Sam?
Yeah, in the same line, talking about the ballot last week, I just wanted to acknowledge the passing of ballot measure 2C. I sort of want to apologize to the community for probably not understanding that ballot. Congratulations to Rachel to be not referred to as a he in the city charter anymore. So I just think it's a nice thing that passed, but I don't think it was understood in the way, judging by it was the closest ballot measure locally for how it was. On the same note, I just wanted to acknowledge, especially locally and nationally, working on this council towards cost of living and affordability relief for our community. It's an issue nationwide, but obviously with the increase in sales tax and all the things going on locally and nationally, I just want the community to know it's in the front of my mind to try to make things affordable. And on that note, I wanted to acknowledge the emails and the public comment tonight as far as the golf pass. And I know Pete already said that Jim Pratt is prepared to talk about that. So I look forward to having a deeper discussion on that because a lot of times in these budget discussions, we don't get as deep into things if we're not as closely associated with them. So I acknowledge that I'm not a golfer, but I look forward to talking about it more for the golfers in the room and beyond. And then the other one that has been front of mind and also tonight was STRs. We got a long list of suggestions from people. I know there are certain HOA issues, so I look forward to discussing those in more depth next week. Duplexes as well, and then want to just state for the record that SDRs are a privilege in a way that if you're someone who is out of regulation with those, that's not a good thing for a community beside the fact of displacing of locals. It's just you should be a good neighbor still, even if it is a short-term rental and you have a permit for it. It's not something that you can keep always in our regulations if you're going to abuse it in a way. And I know it's your guess, but it still comes down to doing the right thing so that the community members that are next to you are not disturbed in the way that they should not be. So just wanted to acknowledge all those things tonight.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. I have a few announcements on behalf of the city, and the only thing I will add first is that, I've read there's been some very detailed studies about the Jamaican hurricane and how it was amplified significantly by climate change. And, it's that old science experiment for high school with the boiling water, it create a little tornado, a little the heat and the humidity do it. First off, we have a Cultural Vibrancy Fellowship. Grants are now accepting applications. We encourage both adults and youth artists to apply for this unique opportunity to bring their creative projects to life. Selected fellows will have the opportunity to attend live performances at the Wheeler Opera House and receive direct funding to support the development of their artistic work. Applications are open until November 21st, and complete details and visit the grants page on aspen.gov. The Aspen Police Department, in partnership with VIIIA, is hosting a community blood drive, inviting residents to take part in this important effort to support patients in need. It's happening on Friday, November 28th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Aspen Police Department, which is right on Main Street here. Refreshments will be provided, and participants will receive a $20 gift card and be entered for a chance to win one of two $10,000 gift cards. That's a pretty good reason to give a little blood. Please bring a valid driver's license and visit aspen.gov for more information. The City of Aspen is also, this is particularly important, warning of email scams that are targeting the invoicing of land use. So individuals who are developers or within the development community or the architectural community, the landscaping community, we warns of scam billing requests coming from fraudulent email address specifically targeting land use cases. The city advises that the applicants remain vigilant in verifying any email communication that they receive requesting payment. All legitimate land use planning invoices will come from the city's official Salesforce system and will be sent from a no-reply services, cityofaspen.com. No reply at services.cityofaspen.com. Any billing email or mailed invoice not from that address should be treated as a potential scam. I think you could turn them into the police department. Legitimate invoices will include a land use planning case number, fee item number, description of charges, and an invoice number. If there's ever any doubt about a fee or an invoice, applicants are encouraged to contact their assigned planner or reach out to the Community Development Administrative Team at 970-920-5090. So that is a real key one. I've been on some other boards where I get an email the classic phishing. Well, could you pay this invoice because so-and-so is out of town? They have enough numbers and names to make it sound legitimate, but it's not. So please double check. These scammers are getting more and more sophisticated every day. And the city is going to be doing a self-evaluation of our American for Disabilities Act compliance, and we're developing a transition plan to enhance the accessibility for individuals with disabilities while ensuring full compliance with the Americans with Disability Act. This may lead us to some improvements in some of the curb cuts and the rampages, and certainly identifying curbs on sidewalks that do not have a ramp at all, and additional efforts. I actually just saw a few minutes of the presentation by the folks who are working with our staff to be able to identify and to come up with a plan to make sure we're taking care of sidewalks, curb ramps, signalized intersections, on-street accessible parking, transit stops, city buildings, and to have accessible communications and public meetings. So there is a survey that folks can fill out online. So if anyone is anonymous, you don't have to say who you are, but if you notice a problem with access and disability improvements that we need to make for full access, please continue to participate in the survey at the aspencommunityvoice.com. And speak up to help represent your neighbors. We all know we have an aging population, and more of these issues are coming to bear. You know, again, another kind of comment on where we're at with climate. I moved to town in 1978, and my friends would always say, well, what are you doing in a mountain town like that? Isn't it crazy? I was like, are you kidding? We have snow on top of the mountains that sticks by the end of September, and we have snow that will stick in town by the end of October. And it's a little sad to see we're not expecting any snow until after Thanksgiving at this point. So I think the city's going to talk about what we can or should do if the guests come and we don't have any real skiing to offer. But we're not at that point yet. And everyone, please go out and wash your car one more time, and we'll see if we can make it snow. Okay, we will move on to, are there any agenda amendments?
Ms. Mayor, I would just like to note that we were scheduled to have a second reading of Ordinance 8, series of 2025, that involves amendments to the short-term rental regulations. It is still on the agenda, but solely for purposes of continuing that hearing. No packet information was provided. My understanding is staff is still working on that language after the first reading and hearing council's comments. So if there's people in the room that wanted to give public comment, because it is a public hearing and scheduled for public comment, I don't anticipate public comment will be had tonight. My understanding is that is continued until hopefully next Tuesday, November 18th at 5 p.m., I think is the request before council. And I just wanted the public to know if that's what they're waiting for, that we might not get to that tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. We are not getting to it. We're not going to be discussing that.
You're not going to discuss it.
Okay. Well, I think what you're hearing is that some of the concerns that have been sent by email or other detail work, we want to take a little more time to work it out and make sure we have those details right. So that's kind of clearly why it's not on our agenda for this evening in terms of decisions or further discussion. Okay, and are there any city managers' comments for the evening?
I'll just add one comment. Since Francis brought up the aspect of Aspen Country Inn, I just had an update from Matthew Gillen today, and he said that all 7 ACI vacancies have been offered to applicants, and we are in the process right now of vetting those applications. So hopefully we will fill all of those units out there and have full status again.
Well, thank you.
Good job to that team for actually working.
And I'd like to add a level of detail for anyone. The Aspen Country Inn project was renovated not too long ago using low-income tax credits because it is a low-income priority project and a senior priority rental project. Unfortunately, those low-income tax credits are a federal benefit to the folks putting money into a project. And they have the benefit of that, but the federal government is entirely unflexible about the wage levels. So it doesn't matter if standard wages shoot up 25% in a 2-year period or 30%. they will not raise the income qualifications. And so it's made it very difficult to fill low-income tax credit units that are also known as LIHTC. And the city is not using any LIHTC funding in the lumberyard project for that very reason. We certainly have talked to CHAFA representatives and even federal representatives about can there be some modernization of that or some updating of that, because a lot of low-income people tend to work 2 jobs, and good on them, but then they don't qualify for this housing. So a single parent with a child who does not work often will be able to qualify, but it's a challenge. And so that's, I'd say, a lesson learned for our community that has literally priced itself out of the value of a low-income tax credit. No other comments on that? Thank you very much. And we will now go back to board reports. So if board members have other items that they need to discuss.
Nothing for them.
Nothing for you this time, Bill? No.
Thanks.
This side of the table?
We attended an APSHA meeting.
Yeah, I can report on the APSHA meeting. We had an APSHA meeting on October 29th, and Liz Axberg, the housing analyst, presented on right sizing, which is optimizing units and bedroom count. And I think the results were surprising both for the board and for her and the APSHA team. Some of the information that she presented, the median age of people in APSHA housing is 55. This is for ownership units, is 55. The average winner, their age is 42, and they have a work history of 15.8 years. And only 13% identified as retired. The average number of sales per year was 62, and that has remained fairly steady over the years, which was part of the surprising information that I think that she presented. There are 288 spare bedrooms in APSHA, fewer than people anticipated. Most of those were in 3 to 4 bedroom units. So I think the takeaway is that there was not a lot of interest from the board or APSHA in spending a lot more time and energy in the right sizing program. That the way that it's functioning right now is meeting some of the needs. There are some trades happening, but there's not momentum to do more because the program is actually sort of working the way it was intended.
Thank you. And John, you add to
There's just one more thing I would add was in 2021, the median age of a home buyer was 45, and now it's 56. So we're creeping upwards.
It's not surprising. Whoops, that one still doesn't work. I'm sorry. 2 of these. I would love to see the APSHA board test the concept of if you already have a unit and you are full occupancy, not under and not over, that you go back to having only 1 chit in the lottery for any future or additional units you want to buy. If you're addressing occupancy, your whole work history should count, if you're going up or down in occupancy. But what's happened with the system is that the folks who have, whether they rented here for a while first and then were able to buy, they're the ones who are able to have the most chits in the lottery, even though they already have housing adequate to their family size. And it gives them an unfair advantage to younger and newer buyers who have not had a unit and have had a longer time to get. So I know there's pros and cons of it, but I live over at Hunter Creek, and I watched when Burlingame Phase III came on. People, some who'd moved in just 9 months ago, a year and a half ago, all put in the lottery to get over to the brand new units that didn't have a lot of outstanding capital needs. And it just creates, I understand that no one wanted to change the other proposal on number of applicants to a lottery or number of chances in the lottery. But it just does seem that we are giving an unfair advantage to people like myself who've lived here for 40 years. I'd have so many more chances in a lottery if I was applying for one than someone who has 6 years of work history but only gets 1 chance and I get 10. And yet I've had the benefit of living in housing that's been affordable for a long time. So that's just something for our APSHA board reps to consider, to change that movement pattern a little bit over time. Let's see, board reports, any other? Didn't you have some conflict when you couldn't go to QQ? Was that?
As it turns out, the
Rudai?
WAPA got changed.
Oh,
But we are finally meeting this Thursday. We're going to be electing a new CEO.
Oh, okay, great.
But there hasn't been a lot going on with ROP lately, but I think that's,
It's winter time.
yeah. And April's had her hands full with Western Mountain Housing Regional Coalition, or however those words are put together.
All right, let's see. I attended the Northwest Council of Governments Water Quality and Quantity meeting in Breckenridge on Thursday, the 30th of this month. It was a very good meeting. We heard a lot about the Shoshone water purchase of the power plant, which is still in water court in front of the Colorado Water Conservation Board. There are objectors to it, but that flow is literally counted in the regime that allowed things, other projects to go forward that do water the Front Range. And it is a critical flow for the 15-mile reach, which is also called the Cameo Call, where the endangered fish don't get enough water in the Colorado River to continue to survive. And once you hit a point where you're not satisfying endangered species law and the endangered fish, it becomes something that every single new water user has to apply for a permit rather than the blanket approvals that the state of Colorado can give. So that was a very good update. There was talks about changes in water standards and other things that are going on. It was exciting to see our State House leader, Julie McCloskey, attending the meeting, and that she takes water concerns very seriously. I was able to talk to her about a few local concerns as well. On the way back, I came through the Glenwood Way to see the Aspen Pickens County Airport open house down in El Jebel at the Hoffman Hotel. And so I really encourage everyone who would like to get involved with the design for those terminals, the transportation connection, these sort of things. They're really seeking public input and have a website to try to keep up. They're trying to keep us all abreast of what and when the closures will be and how impactful that will be to the town. We also had a Transportation for the 21st Century Coalition meeting, which Christine and I both attended. I think they're making some progress in some ways, but you're starting to reach some really tough conclusions about congestion and traffic and how much or how far would a community want to go? How much of a problem is it? For us, would a congestion pricing model work? Would a hot lane, pay-to-play in the HOV lane work? These are ideas that will also clearly be tested in the reevaluation of the record of decision. But for me personally, I've tried to bring it into the group to say, hey, at the Airport Business Center, we're meeting, there's no paid parking here. Basalt just totally redesigned their streetscape and spent millions of dollars. There's no paid parking there. There's no paid parking. How much are our other communities interested in dealing with, or even feel that it's a problem? And shouldn't some of this work really be happening down in Glenwood Springs? Because if you look at Glenwood Springs traffic, it makes ours look like a piece of cake in terms of the backup and the lines and the people going through those communities. So I don't know what the conclusions will be, but there are a lot of dedicated people taking a look at the tough options that we may have for a commuting workforce that is the vast majority of our workforce in this community anymore. And then on Monday was the corridor trail of the Rio Grande Trail from Glenwood Springs up to the Brush Creek Intercept lot, where Pickens County takes over control of that corridor. We looked at various encroachments on the corridor. It's very important to manage those and at times give people licenses for an encroachment, but to remove other things that people just kind of start building onto the rail corridor with their sheds or hot tubs or new gardens. And the corridor of the Rio Grande Rail has been saved through a federal program called Rails to Trails. And if we do not protect that corridor in its entirety, we could lose that protection of the corridor, and then the corridor itself just accrues to property owners on either side, and there is no Rio Grande Trail anymore. So it's a very important task with RAFTA, and It was an all-day adventure. So those are the extra meetings I've been making, and we will now go on with the rest of the agenda. And which is going on to the consent calendar. And these items may be adopted by a single motion, and there's no public hearing on consent items. So Resolution 150, Series of 2025, the Armory Hall Adaptive Reuse Owner's Representative Contract, to have a construction owner representative. Excuse me. Resolution number 152, Series of 2025, the proposed settlement agreement, City versus 359 Design. This is a lingering lawsuit from the Burlingame III development. We have reached a settlement with all parties. And Resolution 153, Series of 2025, is approval of early termination agreement concerning property located at 455 Rio Grande Place, Aspen, Colorado, otherwise known as Yogi's. And that is a matter that I think this council has wanted to resolve for a period of time. And the terms and agreement are all in there. I think we can all make comments on the consent calendar once we have some motions. And then the final item is our draft minutes. So I will ask, is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded. Are there comments that council members would like to make? Bill?
Thanks. Two brief comments. One is I want to thank Kate and her team for all the hard work on 152 and 153. Both of those have been a long time coming and more work than necessary, probably. But sometimes bureaucracy just leaves you with no other option. And then specifically on 153, you know, it was easy to read the headline in the newspaper the other day and say that is just ridiculous to pay this operator that sum of money to go away. And it's hard for me to disagree with that statement, but I do think that there's a lot of thought and strategy that has gone into this proposed outcome. And I think that it will be a beneficial outcome for our community. And it's an unfortunate situation that we were put into, not something that anyone really foresaw. And we're looking forward to the next chapter for this space and providing an amenity for the community.
Thank you, Bill. Additional, John?
I just want to say, well put, Bill. Thanks.
Anyone else on any comments? No. I'm going to add to that one because I agree with you. It was something that I inherited as part of this new council. We all saw the challenges coming together, and I think it's unfortunate. It has been unfortunate for the operator. It's been unfortunate for the community. And a goal of getting that operating again with some reliable, alternate, and relatively affordable food service, I think is very important to our community. It's tough to ever shell out money like this, but on the other hand, I've long had a philosophy that sometimes you just have to take your bath and be done with it. And that's what this is a situation of, moving on and moving in a positive direction. So with that, with no other comments, I will ask Nicole, can you call the roll, please?
Counselor Benedetti?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yes.
Counselor Guth?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Mayor Richards?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you to all who've came to attend. In case we had questions on your sections of the budget, we will have public hearings on the budgets at our next reading. And that date is just next week, or is it the December?
Mayor, I just want to say that the budget pursuant to our charter is adopted by resolution, but it requires a public hearing. So it is set for public hearing on the resolution to approve the 2026 budget.
Okay, and that will be next week?
The fall supplemental pursuant to our charter must be adopted by ordinance, which does require 2 readings, and that second public reading will occur next week.
Okay.
Very
So
confusing.
anyone who had budget concerns, it's next week. There we go. Okay. Very good. We have no notice of call-up on HPC matters this week. We will now move into first reading of ordinances. Ordinance number 10, series of 2025, City of Aspen 25 budget fall supplemental. So we will just have a presentation on that and then a discussion.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Matt Grau, Budget Manager for Finance Department, City of Aspen. Staff is requesting an amendment to the city's 2025 budget that increases total expenditure authority, including transfers, from $267.3 million to $283.8 million. This $16.5 million increase includes $5.7 million in new requests and $10.8 million in previously approved or technical adjustments. In addition, $5.8 million in revenue and transfers are also included in the fall supplemental. Of those new requests, $5.2 million of operating and $500,000 in capital. I will note of that $5.2 million, $5 million is a single request for a stop-loss claim adjustment to the Employee Benefits Fund, and that is expected to be offset by the revenues, so it's potentially net zero. On the technical side, since spring supplemental, Council has approved $4.7 million in operating expenditures and $5.6 million in capital expenditures, and those are included. There are $63,000 in transfers between funds. There's a return of $225,000 in budget authority no longer needed in '25. And finally, our city financial policies for employee separation and PTO payouts total $700,000. Section 2 of the ordinance is to increase budget authority for Truscott 2 by $54,786. And this includes a new request of $29,000 and $26,000 in previously approved expenditure authority. One additional note, prior to second reading, Kids First staff had their deadline for new financial aid on November 1st for payments starting December 1st. They have gone through the new applicants. There's 20 new applicants that qualified and determined they can actually absorb that within their existing budget. So there was a new request item for 2025 fall for $100,000 in additional authority, and they've determined that they do not need that. So I will remove that before second reading.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Council members, we had a very detailed memo. Do we have questions on any of these items? No?
No.
Okay, and this is not a public hearing. There will be a public hearing on this next week, Tuesday. Is that the correct date? Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have to do a reading of the ordinance?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll move to read the ordinance.
Thank you so much.
Seconded.
I was thinking of resolutions.
I know,
That's
it's confusing.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to read. We call the roll for reading.
Counselor Benedetti?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yes.
Counselor Guth?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Mayor Richards?
Yes, thank you.
Ordinance 10, Series of 2025, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Aspen, Colorado, appropriating an increase in the 2025 municipal budget and the 2025 budgets for component unit funds of the City of Aspen and authorizing appropriations pursuant thereto.
Okay, it has been moved, read, and now is there a motion to approve on first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Nicole, if you'll call the roll, please.
Counselor Benedetti?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yes.
Counselor Guth?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Mayor Richards?
Yes. Okay, ordinance number 11, series of 2025, the City of Aspen 2026 fee ordinance. Would you, is there a motion to read?
So moved.
Seconded. Sorry.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and will you call the roll on the motion to read?
Counselor Benedetti?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yes.
Counselor Guth?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Mayor Richards?
Yes, thank you.
Ordinance number 11, Series of 2025, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Aspen, Colorado, amending the municipal code of the City of Aspen to adjust certain municipal fees included under Section 2 and 26 of the municipal code.
Okay, thank you for that. As we've discussed a little earlier this evening, this ordinance also includes the golf passes, and that is something that, Sam, you mentioned further discussion. I certainly have heard these, and I don't know that this is the right time to have that discussion with our golf committee chair, or whether we'd like to hold that until second reading and perhaps have a more detailed memo coming from our golf committee as to why they think these are justified or what modifications they might be able to make to their proposal. Would second reading for the discussion, or?
I think it might be helpful to maybe briefly share some high-level concerns and thoughts and what would be helpful to see on second reading,
Yes.
perhaps?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I want to see the overall golf budget and their expenses and their revenues and everything like that, how they put these pieces together. It is an enterprise fund, which makes it a little more difficult to manage. The golf course cannot have contributions from the general fund or pump it up if it falls below certain levels. It's just the difference of an enterprise fund. Sam?
Well, I just wanted to add that, I hope it's not confidential, Pete sent us an email and it had a solution in it, but to be honest, that's not public as far as I know, and I would like that to be critiqued by the golf members as well, as if that is a viable solution.
Okay, well, it looks like we're going to have the discussion
There you
now.
go.
There we go.
Point to that.
Because I didn't get that memo. I didn't see that yet.
The email that went to the council from me today.
Good evening, everyone. Jim Pratt, General Manager of the Aspen Golf Club. Yeah, happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you. We definitely have a passionate golfing community. Yeah, I'm really pleased that they're, voicing their opinions and reaching out to you guys. That's what they're here for. Like Mayor Rachel indicated, we are an enterprise fund, which is a big proponent of how we look at our budget and how we formalize it. Last year, council did direct the golf department to ensure that we're being able to provide affordable golf, not just for pass holders, but for our local community. What we've done there is we've instituted a local rate where if somebody comes to the golf course and shows a local ID that's from the Roaring Fork Valley, we basically give them 50% off their greens fee off the bat. Those fees are very similar to what, like the punch pass that we're removing. It's a $900, it was a $900 pass that didn't include cart or range balls. The greens fee for a local is $125 fully inclusive, so it's actually the same exact rate. If you're a senior resident, 62 or older, it's $105, so there's even a savings there above and beyond what the punch pass would provide you. So
hold on, just one second. The punch pass had how many punches?
It's a 10-punch pass.
Okay,
and
that was the detail.
It's for 18 holes, too. The biggest complaint that we received in 2025, as far as golf, was tee time availability. We know that we are a busy facility. So with that, we're forced to cap the number of passes that we sell. There was a time when, yeah, we were able to offer an unlimited amount of passes just because we didn't have as many people golfing. And COVID, one of the great things that came out of COVID was it really inspired people to pick up the game of golf. So we have that huge influx in golfers now. Just going through my notes here, the rates that we provided you, we have a golf committee. The golf committee is made up of citizens that represent various user groups, the ladies club, the men's club. So the community has been involved in the decision-making of what those rates are. We operationally are wanting to make all of our passes be all-inclusive. It is the industry norm that when you go to a golf course, you assume that you are gonna ride and you are gonna take range balls. It's the standard. We did do a survey. Within that survey, the survey told us that of our golfers, the majority of our golfers do ride. The survey that we said the majority of golfers do hit range balls. So it doesn't appeal to maybe everybody, but the majority of the people came out through that survey that they do use those services, which is another indicator of why we put that in there. I will note too that the fees that we do charge for our passes, our nearest competitor for public golf is River Valley Ranch. Right now for 2025, we're $1,000 less expensive than their equal golf pass.
Thank you for that. Council members, additional questions or comments? Bill?
Yeah, first comment is, Jim, you've got a difficult task to balance. I don't think we've seen this much community feedback on any of our other sort of recreation facilities or policies or fees, and we continue to get it on golf. And I feel like I'm in a disadvantaged position to weigh in on this or really be thoughtful on it because I'm not a golfer. So, but it's a test for you to balance everyone's different desires, and I appreciate how challenging that can be. So thanks for dealing with it. The things that I would like to see for second reading are a clear endorsement of your plan or revised plan from your committee. What's the formal name of this committee? Golf Board? Okay, wonderful.
Currently, the Golf Advisory Board.
Golf Advisory Board, perfect. So just, some kind of letter acknowledging that they're in support of it alongside you, please. And again, it may be modified between now and second reading, and that's okay based on what we saw from Pete this afternoon. And then this is maybe not the perfect time for this, but I've mentioned this before, and I'll continue to advocate for it. I believe a significant portion of the revenue shortfall in the golf course is funded by City of Aspen property tax payers. Yeah. Is that right? No.
No. So the golf fund is an enterprise fund, so under TABOR requirements, you have to at least achieve 90% of your total revenue in any given year. So the golf fund is meeting that requirement, but just by a little bit. We've had very successful years. Over the last number of years, we've actually adjusted rates and fees up to be able to achieve those thresholds. So Jim does have to keep that balancing act in mind, but any additional revenue that might be needed is usually for the aspect that the golf course is also balancing the Nordic program, and the Parks Fund is the backstop for the Nordic program.
Okay, so just to make sure I understand, and that will negate the need for my comment or invalidate my comment, 90% or more of the expenses of the Golf and Nordic program are covered by greens, fees, passes, et cetera.
That includes capital as well.
And capital, yep.
Thank you for explaining that to me. And thanks for tackling this, Jim, and being here.
Do you have another Golf Advisory Board meeting between now and next Tuesday?
I have one tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Well, well, there you go. I mean, I just wanted to encourage the people critiquing this to write and go to them because, at City Council and non-golfers, the advisory board is who we'd like to have represent these type of issues. So hopefully you can go to them and they can do more vetting. So when it comes back to us, we can approve or deny with confidence based on their recommendation. Because I know you have a tough job to do. So people in the room that are here for golf, please make your voice heard tomorrow. And once again, Pete said there was another solution potentially, but I wasn't sure if that was going to be a viable one because once again, I'm not a golfer and it still includes changes. So the viable solutions that you think you can work up, I'd love for them to be seen by your advisory board and then also members critiquing it, looking for what they're looking for.
Absolutely. So, and just to paraphrase the solution that we kind of proposed, it was, we know that we have a cap on passes to make sure that we're able to provide tee time availability first and foremost, because that was the biggest complaint. Whatever we adjust, like if we do offer a lower or less expensive golf pass, that is taking away from a higher one. So it will affect the budget, just so that we're clear that we have to balance that as well. But yeah, happy to take this back to our advisory board and get their input and make sure that we're on the right track.
Okay, thank you. Anyone comments here?
Just want to thank you for the balancing act you're doing. This issue is a lot more complicated than meets the eye.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. I do have a question. With you said the golf cart was industry standard at this point as part of the rental or the fee?
Most courses that do the volume of golf that we do include cart and range balls, yes.
And is there can you still walk if you?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So basically, and another reason that we're encouraging this, it's a control aspect from the golf courses too, because I have the best staff in the world and I will support them all the time. But from a control aspect, it is very easy for somebody to come by and there goes a golf cart key or there goes a bucket of range ball. So having this all inclusive, it's a better control of the operations as well. But certainly, yeah, if somebody comes in and says, I would prefer to walk, they have that option. 9 times out of 10, they'll make the turn and be like, you know what, the elevation is getting me. Can I get a cart for the turn? Absolutely. You already paid for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. I just wanted to make sure we weren't forcing people into carts that wanted to walk.
They always have the option.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, and thanks those who have taken the time. This is not a public hearing. Sorry, but there is a meeting tomorrow. What time and where is that golf committee?
Yeah, so that meeting is normally on Tuesdays, but with council tonight, we moved it to tomorrow at the golf course at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. at the golf course tomorrow will be the golf meeting. Anyone who would like to make further comments on this. And then it will be a public hearing when it gets back to council, but it's not a public hearing right now. Just a few kind of overall comments. My husband is a golfer. He likes to golf. And he said it's kind of 50-50. He likes to walk for the exercise, but some days he doesn't like to walk for the exercise.
Santa Claus.
Santa's back there. But, you know, it was years ago, a friend used the expression, well, you know, once your knees go, you start being a golfer. And I know a lot of people started golfing, but at a certain point in time, you're not skiing as much and you're golfing more, and it's your way for recreation. And so with an aging population, there's going to be continued demand on this course. And I'm glad to see our junior golfers, you know, being the next generation coming up. But there is a great deal of demand on the course. The other thing I'd like to say is that it's important to make your voice heard. At the same time, it's important to understand the whole dynamics. And I look at what a ski pass costs anymore, even if you're just getting a 1 day a week. And that is fully supported by an awful lot of tourists coming in, where our golf course is not as fully supported by those who can pay a full higher rate. Otherwise, we'd have no tee times left for our locals. So we have to make our voice heard and our concerns, but also understanding at a level we all are compromising on this, and that needs to be done. You know, and if we go into a little bit of history, when the Burlingame Affordable Housing Project was built, the people who first bid it and got the bid for it, they had an understanding they were going to build it 1, 2, 3 in 3 phases. So they were going to be storing the dirt on site. Well, they did that. Well, actually, the town and with Mayor Clanderud wanted to do it more in phases. And so suddenly the dirt couldn't be stored on site because that's where it just couldn't be. And it was all donated to the Aspen Golf Course and trucked over and paid for by the Housing Fund for about $350,000, I think, if we go backwards far enough in history. And so I've always wanted to see the Golf Fund get to a point where it made enough money to start repaying that. But it's simply not really going to happen. It's just going to be left as a donation. We also have started a golf course and a golf region master plan to look at the adequacy of the clubhouse, the Red Mountain Grill, their facilities, the tennis courts, the parking, and everything like that. So it's something that we can't balance this budget as a zero budget, no profit, no loss, because there are future needs, and we have to plan for the capital of the future needs of the golf course as well. And it's something that I'm really glad to have clarified, that people can still walk when they want to walk. Unfortunately, we see some people who say, no, I think I'm going to walk. It's a great day. And then they just hop in a cart with someone else on the second or third hole. And that's just trying to avoid a fee, and that's just cheating. And, you know, if you're going to get in a cart, you're going to take a cart, you're going to pay for a cart. So as you're referencing the term a control measure, this is a control measure because there's just been some bad apples who kind of ruin it for everyone else. So maybe that's something the golf committee can come up with other ideas of how to deal with. But I think making an all-in-one package is almost more appropriate. And that's something we're going to look at and we're going to see, and we appreciate you taking a further deep dive into this.
Absolutely. Thank you for your guys' time.
Thank you. And so let me ask our legal here, if we pass this now with the golf fees as they are stated, and yet we end up changing them either for second reading, or even we can even pull this out of this fee ordinance if it's not fully baked. And no one's going to be golfing in January, so we have a little more time to work on the fees of this than we do with some of the other programs. So just to, I know you need to know your budget to work with, but we will have other meetings in December, and so that's all I'm saying, is that if it takes more than just 1 week,
So you do have the power to amend an ordinance between first and second reading. That's set forth in the charter and the code. Because fees are at issue, I think it's within your power to consider an amendment if it relates to the fees that are in this current rendition of the ordinance. I think you have the ability, and I think it's authorized by the code to approve at second reading amendments that may change these fee amounts.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure we shouldn't pull it out right now or anything like that. So we can approve this on first reading, but I would just say the council is open to hearing the comments and the conclusion, as Bill said, from the Golf Advisory Committee, from the outcome of your meetings.
Appreciate that.
Okay? So with all that, is there a motion to approve Ordinance 11, Series of 2025, City of Aspen 2026 fee ordinance?
Should we make a motion to read it first?
We read it.
Oh, we did.
I remember that
Yeah, I
part
was gonna
this
say,
time.
right off the bat.
So moved.
So moved.
Second. Okay. Will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Benedetti?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yes.
Counselor Guth?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Mayor Richards?
Yes. Thank you very much. And again, thank you for all those who took the time to express their concerns and help us get this right. We appreciate it. The next item is ordinance number 13, series of 2025, changes to Title 25. Council memo, would you read the ordinance? Do I have a motion to read the ordinance, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and you'll call the roll?
Counselor Benedetti?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yes.
Counselor Guth?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Mayor Richards?
Yes.
Ordinance 13, Series of 2025, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Aspen, Colorado, amending and adding to Title 25 of the Municipal Code of the City of Aspen, Utilities, specifically Chapters 25.04, Electricity 25.08, Water Service, General Provisions 25.12, Utility Connections 25.16, Water Rates and Charges, and 25.30, Water Efficient Landscaping Standards.
Okay, thank you very much. We have read it, looked at it. If we have any questions, we have a staff here. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 13, series of 2025 on first reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Okay, is there council questions or discussion? Bill?
Brief comment. I won't be supporting this tonight. I can't get behind, and I had questions and comments on this during staff presentation, but I can't get behind the magnitude of the increases to both the electric community investment fees, or electric tap fees, if you will, and the water tap fees. I think they're punitive to development unnecessarily. I think that they have sort of a unintended consequence of discouraging electrification, which is something the majority of this council seems to prioritize. I don't think it's being done thoughtfully, and I'm fine with everything else except for those two elements. Thanks.
Thank you for that comment, Bill. Additional board comments? I mean, I'll just respond. I recall during the meeting on the water particularly, I had said, boy, no one likes to be on a council who's raising fees. And you said, I'm happy to be raising these fees because our water plant needs rebuilding so badly, and it's such a critical infrastructure, and I'm proud of it. And I can understand, perhaps there's one element or another of the package, similar to the golf, that we object to, but I can't look away from the needs that we really have. And I just, more than ever, and I mentioned this to a reporter today who asked me about some of the sales taxes, is that I think communities are on their own to take care of themselves and to invest in themselves. And the ability of whether it should have been clean water grants from the federal government and the EPA and these sort of things that we could really pursue to help our community, we're kind of stuck doing it on our own. And so that sort of federal assistance to communities has seemed to have really dried up. I don't like raising these fees at all, but I also don't like ever hearing we're going to have a boil water order or that we're not adequately maintaining our infrastructure. When we get to the electric fees, I think it's fairly clear in the memo, the city is working with other communities to protest before the Public Utilities Commission and even take legal action for the incredible superseding charges that Xcel Energy is able to put onto us, because our energy uses a small amount of their transmission lines getting here. We are bought into their entire network, so to speak, and they are proposing a multi-billion, if not trillion-plus project to do new energy corridors across southwest Colorado and the Front Range. And they get to allocate those costs all across their users. And so that's where our 15%, is really coming from in future years, is that we are part of a larger network. I objected to the Xcel proposal when I saw them at the Club 20 Business Affairs meeting and said that this is just unfair to try to charge our small community these incredible rate increases to get the power we need. So I wish maybe we were producing more of our own power here locally and didn't have to transmit it, but even coming from Root Eye Water and Power, we have to pay the transmission fees, let alone lose the energy. So it's a tough world, and it's challenging, and that's just kind of what the costs are. I know these guys work to both ensure reliability of service, the availability of service, and control costs where they can.
May I offer one point of clarity? I have no problem with the service fee increases, and I agree with you why they're increasing and why they should be passed through to consumers. I have a problem with the tap fee and the community improvement fee increases that I feel are disproportionate to the realities of the impacts that upsized services, some of which we're encouraging, like through electrification, for example, are putting on the system.
Yeah.
I think that they're an extraordinary amount of money, and they're punitive. And these types of increases are punitive. So no problem with the rate adjustments. It's the fees that I have an issue with.
I can respect that and appreciate your clarification. Other comments on Resolution 133? That's where we are now. Oh, no, we're not. We're on 13 still. They look too similar. Everything says budget in the middle of it. Okay, any other comments before we have a vote on this? Okay, no. Thank you. Nicole, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Benedetti?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yes.
Counselor Guth?
No.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Mayor Richards?
Yes. Thank you very much. And let's see where we go. Thank you for being here in case we had further questions. Now we are on to public hearings, and now that the public is gone.
Talk about golf, so.
Let's see. This is a second reading? Or no, it's just the public hearing for a resolution. That's very confusing. We never do public hearings for resolutions. This is a public hearing for the resolution number 133, series of 2025, the City of Aspen 2026 budget adoption. So can we have, do we need a reading for that or no? No. It is online, though, and folks hopefully have taken a look at it, and if anybody had wanted to make comments to us, they could have sent them in. Council members, is there a motion to approve Resolution 133?
You have to open public.
Oh, first.
There
Okay.
does have to be a public comment period, Mayor. So
I realize that. I was just wondering if we want to comment on the motion. But
And I will note that under the charter, we have to provide notice of this hearing at least 7 days in advance, which is unlike anything else we do. So notice was published on the city calendar 7 days in advance so that the public knew. And yeah, I think you.
Okay, thank you
take it
very
from
much.
there.
I was just thinking we get a motion on the table and then have the comment, but it goes the other way, and I agree with that. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone online or in the room to comment on the City of Aspen 2026 budget adoption as identified in Resolution 133? There being none, I will close the public hearing.
I'll move to adopt Resolution 133.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you call the roll, please?
Oh, can we comment real quick?
Okay.
Oh, I just wanted to say to the city, your tax dollars at work here. I appreciate staff in the city prioritizing our priorities here at council, especially when you look at the capital outlay. And, the price tag is high, but the whole point of this and the whole point of these local government budgets is for people to notice them and notice their lives potentially improving because of them or not becoming worse because of them. So I just wanted to say to the public, this is council and staff and the local city government doing their best to improve your lives. And if you feel like we're missing something or there's a detriment to your life, we very much encourage your feedback on these type of things because we're very much a value-oriented council looking to put our values into how we, into our money towards improving quality of life. So I just really wanted to say that because this is a big budget and I really look forward to the projects that we're working on coming to fruition and enhancing people's here's quality of life.
I agree with that. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, well said.
Thank you. John?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Matt, the Finance Department, and our former Finance Director, Pete Strucker, for making this budget season the smoothest that I've taken part of.
All Matt and the team.
Thanks very much.
It's a good team. Christine, do you have any comments? Nope. Okay. Sorry, I've been a little off on this schedule.
It's super confusing. We're here trying to support you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's what I'm getting around to, is I appreciate the help from my colleagues here. And the only thing I can say is that a budget is a statement of your values. And it's a statement of the values of this community, whether it's supporting things like we just saw, the rebuilding of Wagner Park and have that great playground for our kids, or is it the efforts we're making on transportation, housing, and everything else? So this is, I really appreciate Sam's comments to say, talk to us. If there's other things you want to see in the next year's budget or projects you've been thinking would be good for the city, we'd love to hear about it. With all that, would you call the roll, please, Nicole?
Counselor Benedetti?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yep.
Counselor Guth?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Mayor Richards?
Yes. Thank you very much. We will now go on to another resolution, which we have to have no reading, but public comment. So this is resolution number 134, series of 2025. It is the Aspen-Pickens County Housing Authority 2026 budget adoption. Is there anyone here to comment on the budget adoption for APSHA or online? No, I'm not seeing anyone. Therefore, I will accept a motion to approve. I will close the public hearing and accept a motion to approve resolution number 134.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion on this? I would just thank our APSHA board reps for overseeing the properties and helping guide Matthew and the Truscott projects in the refurbishment that they need.
It's a super solid budget.
Yeah. Well, there's always things. We know that things age. So with the motion to approve and a second, no further comment, would you call the roll, please, Nicole?
Counselor Benedetti?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yes.
Counselor Guth?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Mayor Richards?
Yes, thank you. And we now have ordinance number 8, series of 2025, the short-term rental agreements, which we are intending to continue to November 18th. I do, however, need to open the public comment in case there is any public comment on this at this point.
Mayor, if I may, I actually don't think public comment is required on this. So
Okay.
this is an ordinance to make amendments to your short-term rental program. Notice pursuant to the Land Use Code is required to be published in the paper. We have to publish that at least 15 days in advance. We thought we would have this ordinance ready to present to you for second reading tonight. Unfortunately, we're asking for a short continuance until next week. To maintain the validity of that notice, we are asking council to formally
Open it and
continue the hearing until November 18th, 2025 at a set date and time. It has to be at a set date and time, so it would be November 18th, 2025 at 5 PM. My suggestion would be to call for a motion to continue second reading of Ordinance 8, Series of 2025, to November 18th, 2025 at 5 PM. And then that published notice will remain valid pursuant to the Land Use Code.
Okay, and we renotice in a way that the public will know that that's when the public hearing is going to happen.
That's why we're doing this at a public hearing.
Okay.
If the public wanted to make comment, they were here, they could have attended tonight. That's why I announced it at the beginning of the meeting. And certainly, we will inform anybody that we know of that's interested of the continuation.
Okay, and with any luck at all, the only paper that intends in person will cover the fact that there is a second opportunity to talk about this. I would like to see if council members would make a motion to continue ordinance number 8, series of 2025, the short-term rental agreements, to continue the item and the public hearing until November 18th at the regular city council meeting that will begin at 5 PM.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it has moved and seconded. Nicole, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Benedetti?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yes.
Counselor Guth?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Mayor Richards?
Yes, thank you. We'll now move on to the action items. And this is the APSHA Fall Budget Supplemental. This is not a public hearing. But is there a reading required on this resolution?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just a resolution.
It's under the different things. All right, so Resolution 132, Series of 2025, the APSHA 2025 Budget Fall Supplemental. Would you like to tell us what it's about, that glycol stuff, huh?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So the glycol for the heating system was actually part of the city ordinance, Section 2, because it's for Truscott 1 under the city piece and that Section 2 component unit. So this actually is just one item for the APSHA Development Fund. As council is aware, from time to time, APSHA buys a property and either renovates it and puts it back into the lottery for resale, or as the case with 2 properties down in Woody Creek, they actually had a demo, the old house, and partnered with Clayton Homes to build a new house on that lot. So this is just a fall supplemental to amend their 2025 budget to allow for the inventory cost of goods sold, because when they purchase it, it goes onto their balance sheet. When they finally sell to a new owner with deed restrictions is when the expense shows up. So it's really an accounting function, just making sure they have enough authority. In addition to those 2 Woody Creek properties, there was another one within city limits that they bought, refurbished, and sold this calendar year.
Okay, very good.
So the glycol thing was elsewhere?
Yeah, it was. It was
Okay,
in the
I thought so, yeah.
other part of Truscott for their bulk purchase of heating. Okay, we do not have a public hearing on this. Does anyone have any questions on the matter itself? No. Very good. Is there a motion to approve resolution number 132, series of 2025, the APSHA 2025 Budget Fall Supplemental?
So moved.
Seconded.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Nicole, can you call the roll, please?
Counselor Benedetti?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yes.
Counselor Guth?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Mayor Richards?
Yes, thank you very much. That completes the standard agenda for our evening. We do have some executive sessions scheduled, and I will let the city attorney cite the reasons why we are going into executive session. We will do that in our downstairs council chambers so that we can let Grassroots TV go home. We do not make decisions in executive sessions. We can give staff direction to pursue, but that's about it. And we will close the meeting for the end of the day downstairs as opposed to back in this room.
Thank you, Mayor. Staff is requesting an executive session pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute, Section 24-6-402, subsection 4, subsection A, the purchase, acquisition, lease, transfer, or sale of any real personal or other property interests, subsection 4, subsection B, conference with an attorney for the local public body for purposes of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions, subsection 4, subsection E, determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and instructing negotiators. The specific items of discussion involve the following: discussion and instruction to negotiators concerning potential litigation arising out of the Wrights Road Waterline Replacement Project. And the second item is the lease, transfer, or acquisition of real property or property interests and contract negotiations and communications with counsel regarding such subjects. Due to the market forces, negotiation strategies, and confidential demands of parties involved, and necessitated by the subject of the specific legal advice, which further disclosure would be detrimental to the city's strategic position, the exact properties and their location cannot be disclosed. Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion to go in executive session based on the citations by our attorney?
So moved.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Nicole, if you would call the roll, please.
Counselor Benedetti?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yes.
Counselor Youth?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Mayor Richards?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you to our public who attended today, and thank you very much to Grassroots. We always appreciate you being here.